الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
قل أعوذ برب الناس.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I've come across this video who in this video they are trying to attack Islam, mostly the Sunnis, because of basically a person from Afghanistan who is Taliban, and I believe this channel is called Al-Zahra Pharma. Al-Zahra, usually I think it's Shia because they call Fatima Zahra, as you know, they praise her so much, Fatima radiallahu anha. And the thing is, they say here basically that, you know, they show that they say that this is Jahl, right? And Takhalluf, basically he's beheading a TV, I'dam al-Tilfaz. He's not beheading a TV, he's breaking a TV with the Harakat Taliban, basically the Taliban Harakat. And you see here in the last thing of the comments, I love how this person came and said at-Tilfaz fitna. He said that TV is a trial. That's true. And then you see the replies, he says, the guy says Billahi, right? He's like, you know, he's saying Billahi, you know, he's trying to make fun, right? And then the guy says, well, jawal li tastakhdamu. Now it doesn't really matter if he's using a jawal, if he's using a phone, he still stated the truth that at-Tilfaz is fitna, even though if he uses it. So basically, you can see here that many people are saying, oh, look at these Talibans, look at these Muslims, they are mutakhallifun, they are ignorant, they are breaking the TV, they are doing this. Now first of all, let me make this clear, I do not agree with the Taliban, okay? There's many things, like I agree for them making Sharia law in their own country, in the correct way of Islam, right? Not in any ways of their own. But there's some things that the Taliban do that I'm against. Some of them do grave worship, some of them are Sufis, some of them are Deobandis, right? So I disagree with that, okay? But what I mean is, even if a Jewish country or a pagan country or a Christian country made Sharia law permissible in their country and ruled, because Allah says in the Quran, فَلْيَحْكُمْ أَهْلُ التَّوْرَاتِ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ. Allah says in the Quran that the people of the Torah, you know, basically judge by what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, right? By that meaning that they have to follow the Prophet Muhammad mentioned the Torah and not conceal that he's mentioned there. Not only that, to follow the Sharia of Allah, like the Prophet Muhammad says, what is, basically showed them the stoning verse, stoning the adulterer, the fornicator, and the male fornicator, and the female fornicator. He said to stone them, right? So even though they were Jews, but this is what Torah says. So the Prophet said, follow your Torah, right? If your Torah says to stone them, stone them. So if they do that, I'm with them on that, right? I'm not against them on that. They're haqq, they're doing a haqq on that. They're saying the truth on that, right? And basically here, even Ibn Taymiyyah said that if Allah will not give victory to a Muslim country as long as there are oppressors in it, but Allah will give victory to a kafir country, to a disbelieving country, if they are not oppressed, they make justice, they have justice in that, right? And by that we mean the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the adl. We do not mean oppression. So Allah is saying that Allah will give victory to a disbelieving country against a Muslim country if it was oppressing, right? So here they say أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Now basically this is because the Taliban, they claim to be Sunnis. The Shias are using it as an attack in front of them. Let's watch what he does.
است که دشمنان اسلام در کشور عزیز ما افغانستان ایراواری کردند به خاطر که خانواده های مسلمان را به طرف تباهی و به طرف دوزخ و عذاب قبر ببرند. و اگر راست این را فهمید می‌شوند، این را به خاطر دشمنان اسلام جور کرده که تاریکی فرزندان مسلمان و دختران مسلمان و بچه های مسلمان هلاک شوند و دوزخ بروند و در عذاب قبر مبتلا. So
it's saying that the reason for this is the TV makes adab al-qabr, right? It makes a person, you know, be punished in the grave. Yeah, and he's saying basically these are tools of Dajjal, right? Let's continue saying.
خود بیرون بکنن. حتی این خریدن از نظر شریعت حرام است و در خانه گذاشتن از این حرام است. حتی این قرائت قرآن کریم تقریر از ناحیه تلویزیون گوش کردنش حرام است. بین آنچه که حرام است خلاف اسلام است. به خاطر رضای پروردگار ما می‌ذاریم، نه به خاطر شهرت طلبی و تکبری. الله اکبر. الله اکبر. دشمن هست، این اسلام جور کرده به خاطر تباهی مردان مسلمان و زنان مسلمان و مردان مسلمان را نمیگذارد که بس برود. بسم ما مسلمان را خراب میکنیم تا اینکه برای مسلمان و
Now, as you have seen, many people call this, oh, look at these people, look at these backwarded, barbaric people, terrorists, or these things or that. Now, before that, I want to ask a question. Why did he basically break the TV? The reason is, Habibi, is because of the media, right? And what does the media do? To show Surah al-Islam. Basically, that's the first thing the media does. It shows the picture of Islam, makes Islamophobia, makes people scared of Muslims, run away from Muslims, run away from Islam, think Muslims are bad, terrorists, or evil. Brainwash people's minds, lead them to traps. On TV, you can watch anything, whether you're Afghanistan, on Afghanistan TV, you can go on any channel. Oops, when Shaitan brings this channel, you see ladies dancing, you see music, you see basically people doing this, people doing that. On TV, you can look at the qanawat al-diniya, religion qanawat. What do you see there? Fitna. An imam, Allah knows where he came from. He's trying to do fatwa to people, this and that, like Yasir al-Qadi, trialing people, making people believe him. What else does it do? They bring shubuhat against Islam. Like basically the TV, as long as it's in your home, you can watch anything in public, in private, it won't matter. Even in private, you can do it yourself. You sit in your room, you lock the door, you basically watch a TV. And Allahu A'lam what you're watching, what shaitan causes you to happen. You look zina in the eyes, you look at women dancing, pornography, for example. And I'm not only talking about TV, I'm talking about the jawad, I'm talking about the phone. On the phone, you keep it in your hand, you can hide it. You can look at porn, you can look at girls' pictures, you can look at this, you can look at that, you can look at shubuhat, people causing fitna, brainwashing you, making you leave Islam, think Islam is bad while you're a very pious Muslim, making you do zina on it, making you do this, making you do that. Now, many people, if you look right now, that the media is making the Taliban's a bad movement, not only because they are Talibans, as long as they have false teaching and this and that, but because they focus mainly on the Sharia, that these are Muslims, they call themselves Muslims. These people represent Islam by making Sharia law valid. And then they show them that they are terrorists, they are this, that, and people running away from the Taliban, from Afghanistan, falling off the planes, Afghanis bombing this, bombing that, bombing that. While in other things you see that many people in the West went to Afghanistan, sat with the Taliban, and then came back Muslims. And they came back to live in their own country their whole life, and they never left Islam. They said, we've seen good manners from these people. These people aren't bad. These people aren't bad. So now they realized that the media was lying all along. So yeah, this is the trial here. Not only that, any person can be fooled by any shaykh. Any person, like in Afghanistan, don't tell me that Afghanistan there's knowledgeable people about Islam. No way. There's many jahil, there's many ignorance. Even in Saudi Arabia, when I was in Saudi Arabia, no one knows religion there. In the whole Middle East, you go to ask a person, they see you like a religious person, you tell them about religion, they know nothing. Maybe this little word or this or that, but they know nothing. All their life they spend on phones, TV. These phones and TVs cause addiction. The computer, the internet cause addiction. If you're using all those for your time to have fun and not basically preach Islam on it, because basically nowhere in the TV they will show the true face of Islam. Only in some qanawat, right? But they will show some particular things, right? We refute these Islamophobes, we refute these Ahlul Bidah, we refute these basically so-called sheikhs that are think that they're representing Islam and teaching Islam, right? We take our time to basically refute all those things. Now basically you go, for example, if an Azhari sheikh looks at this and says, look at this guy, he's breaking a TV, you will go tell people, look, these people are so jahils, they break TVs, they break this. Habibi, These people are breaking TVs because the TV in your own countries is making the people rebel against you and against Islam and against the leaders. That's in your own countries. And making people everywhere in the West rebel against Islam and use it as proof against you. And use it and brainwash people to make them go and fight you. That's what they're doing, Habibi. Don't تغفل عن هذا. Don't be, basically Allah says in the Quran, in chapter 21 of the Quran, the time of their account, right, of the people's account approach for the people while they are in heedliness, turning away. What they are doing, they're they're looking at the TV, they're looking at the iPhone, looking at the internet, the text messaging. This guy is thinking about going on a date with a girl, leaves his salah, playing games, doing this, doing that. No mention, revelation comes to them and you from their Lord, except that they listen to it while they are at play. They listen to it while playing. They listen to, looking at the phone, looking at the TV, looking at this, looking at that. Many people are getting addicted to cell phones. Parents are not even looking at their children and focusing more on telephones. Any fitna can happen. There's threats for people on telephones, giving them anxiety and depression. There's people on TV, media, basically showing people, making people heat up against each other, fighting back and forth, basically. Oh, look, these non-Muslims are looking at Muslims how they are, and the Muslims are looking at how the media is representing them and saying, oh, look, these kafirs are bad, we must do something. And it's brainwashing people. That's what basically it's doing. It's causing fights between people. Like this guy, what he did, may Allah bless him, when he broke the TV, imagine if they broke all the TVs in Afghanistan and not allow it. What do you think will happen? There will be much more peace. There will be much more peace. People will not rebel against their Muslim leaders. People will not take sides with this and that. People will take more time to go do their salat instead of being like this. They'll find themselves bored. They go do salat, they go to tasbih, they go to mosque, they open lectures, da'was, everything like that. They go there and they go there and take their time to actually learn. Like if these things are used for good and for learning the true way of Islam and going, basically refuting people, this way is much better than you looking at it and having fun. And many people are falling in this fitna. They're too lazy to look at deen. They want to look at what is fun. They get used to something. They get used to this video. They get used to this way of lifestyle, and khalas, they're addicted to it. You can't move them out. What happened one time, if you know this Pokemon game on the telephone, I saw everyone going finding Pokemons. They're leading them to streets. They even go all the way to downtown and they go search for Pokemons and this and that and that. They go walk around and find Pokemons. Like, wallahi, what is this? This is like sheep. They don't care about anyone. They fall. People using in the streets, basically spending time on it, getting hit by cars, car accident, this and that. Don't know what's going on with them. Putting these headphones in their ears and listening to music all day long. Don't tell me this is not a fitna. Look at your own self. Look at the West has brainwashed even these people that are commenting here below. The West has brainwashed them. When this person said, "Oh, at-tilfaz fitna," they all attacked him. They all attacked him. They call him jahil. Look, you have a phone too. You have this, you have that. طيب. If it's used for good, khalas. But do you think they will always be used for good? Don't you think that one time maybe a Muslim sees a fitna come across and he can't resist and shaitan makes him open it, and he listens to things against Islam and gets strict and leaves Islam and thinks Islam is this and that, or he does not have knowledge in that? Don't you think that would happen? Don't you think a non-Muslim will look at it and see what Islam really is and starts to attack Islam? Don't you think little kids from young age, when their parents give them the phone, they can go search anything? They start imitating the TV as well. If they watch a movie, for example, Batman or Iron Man or this and that, or Spider-Man using the devil signs, right? They start, it's common. Oh, people look at this guy they see he's an actor, and they see him walking around, he dresses cool, he raps cool, he does this. People are not focusing on religion, come on. The Prophet Muhammad said, the jihad will increase not because of the books disappearing, but because of the scholars dying. And the people take less time to listen to the scholars than they look at the books. because many people don't know the books, don't have time. They're too lazy to read books in this generation. They're more focused on looking at the computer and this and that. And to be honest, this is what the Prophet Muhammad warned about. As it says in Sahih al-Bukhari, narrated Auf bin Malik, I think it's Malik, what is his name here? Yeah, Auf bin Malik. I went to the Prophet Muhammad during the Ghazwa of Tabuk while he was sitting in a leather tent. The Prophet said, count 6 signs that indicate the approach of the hour. He said, my death, the conquest of Jerusalem, a plague that will afflict you and kill you in great numbers, as the plague that afflicts sheep, the increase of wealth to such an extent that even if one is given 100 dinars, he will not be satisfied. Yani, it's happening today. He will not be satisfied with 100 dinars. He will keep looking. If he gets 100 dinars, he'll look for 200. Or if he gets, like, for example, $1,000, he'll look for 1 million, 2 million, 2 billion. He won't sleep at night, he'll look for another trillion. And then that's basically a marad. That's basically a marad for him. He look, oh, I want to buy this car, I want to get these girls, I want this and that. And make in mind here, it says, then an affliction which no Arab house will escape. And here it says, ثم فتنة لا يبقى بيت من العرب إلا دخلته. So basically a fitna, a trial that will enter every Arab's house. There's no Arab house that will not flee from it. Or basically every person's house. Ask me right now, what is that fitna? The internet. Not only the internet, before the internet there was TVs. People got used to TVs. Slowly internet started coming. Slowly the phones started coming. So all this, the TV, you can watch anything on it. Even if you're very, very knowledgeable in religion, any single fitna can trial you in that. Not only that, even if you are the least ignorant, the very ignorant of religion, you will believe everything TV says. Wallahi al-azim, you will believe everything TV says. People start to say, oh, gay marriage is permissible. Go ahead and do it. They have gay days, they have this, they have that. What next? Right? What next? Now, the thing is, I want you to keep in mind is that I'm not saying TV is haram, but if you think that if you watch a TV or have a phone and will make you enter to these sites and make you get trialed and you get addicted to it, what happens when you get addicted? You get sick, you start believing everything, you get depressed, you start this, you start that, you start wanting to be like these people. Because basically society will say, if you don't be like these people, you're not accepted in our society. You will have no friends, you will have no this, you will have no that. People will despair of you, they will run away from you as long as you go against them. So if you're gonna think you're gonna do that, and it's gonna make you addicted, and it's gonna get you addicted to porn, gonna get addicted to watching the news, getting you addicted to believing these lies, getting you addicted to listening to Allahu A'lam which sheikh you're listening to, getting your religion from, because Ibn Sirin said in Sahih Muslim, إن هذا العلم دين فليحذر أحدكم عن من يأخذ دينه. Ibn Sirin said, indeed this religion, Islam, is knowledge. So let the person beware of where he gets knowledge from. This is in Sahih Muslim by Ibn Sirin narrating this. I'm gonna say, if you eat too much candy, it's not good. When does it become haram? When you're almost to the extent that you're gonna get diabetes, and you know you're gonna get diabetes, and you still eat it. Or once you get diabetes and doctor says you can't have any sugar, but you still eat sugar, it becomes haram for you. Although it's halal, generally in main halal, but anything that harms becomes too much, and harms becomes haram. So watching too much TV, getting addicted to it, to the point that you can't let your eye go out of it, it becomes haram for you, because it's leading you astray. So this is what it is. If you're easily gonna get trialed by watching something on TV, then it's haram for you to watch. That's it. That's plain. It's haram for you to watch if something's gonna lead you to a fitna and gonna lead you out of Islam. This is what shaitan takes, little steps. What is that gonna do? It's gonna do this and that. right? Like the media is portraying that since the Taliban bring Sharia law, or anyone who brings Sharia law is blood and this and that, and many Muslims saying we don't need Sharia law, like Yasir Qadi, even who was a Salafi and became, Allahu Alim what he became, he left the way of the Salaf. He's saying adultery, storing the adultery is not permissible in our generation. And people are believing him. He still has many followers. And people say what he's saying. The beard starts being shaved by people when they say you, Wallahi al-Azim, when they see you having long hair or a beard, they say fix this or that or that or that. They don't like it. I know once I was working in a place. I was working with a person there, and the person was Arab and Muslim, right? And he told me, you should fix your hair, you should fix your beard. I told him, no way, bro. My beard is not that long to fix it. My beard is not that long to fix it. I have to keep it until it becomes very long, then I can fix it. Because right now, if I fix it, it's basically I'm shaving it, I'm making it short, which is haram, which is not permissible. And no, who are you to tell me I should shave my hair? Khalas, I'm following the sunnah of the Prophet. This is my way. I'm following the sunnah. You can't tell me to stop doing the sunnah just because you want me to work. Because basically, guys, if I say it's sunnah to grow a hair, if I shave the hair, next time Shaitan will take it a little further with me and tell me, yeah, you should fix that beard of yours, and then you look much better. Like he's doing to women. ينزع عنهما لباسهما ليريهما سوءتهما. Right? The Prophet, Allah says in the Quran, O you who believe, do not follow the Shaitan, who basically misleaded your fathers Adam and Eve before. ينزع عنهما لباسهما is basically taking off their clothes slowly to show them their private parts. And people are starting to say, oh, hijab women start to wear this and that. Basically, I'm just going to wear the hijab. Wallahi billah, guys. I was once in my school, the first time I saw a hijabi, she's wearing hijab and everything, her knees are uncovered. Uqsim billah, she's wearing a skirt, not even wearing anything under it. Yani showing her feet, bare feet and bare legs. Uqsimu billah. And she's wearing hijab. And she put makeup and everything like that. Wallahi, I was surprised. Like, what? ما ينفعك الحجاب. That's not a hijab. Hijab is basically a full cover. That's not hijab. Every man who's seeing you and getting trialed, you're basically trialing him, and you're basically getting many bad deeds because you're the cause of it. Allah told you to cover up and not covering up, you're getting man trialed with you. You're making men start to not lower their gaze and look at these things. Even if you're lowering your gaze as much as you can, wallahi, there'll be a time when you lift it and you're looking through your way where you're walking, and a woman just pops up looking like that. What's gonna happen? You're probably gonna be amazed of her beauty and this and that. You're probably not gonna lower your gaze from her anymore. So yeah, beware. Like, أرضيتم بالحياة الدنيا عن الآخرة, right? That's the basic thing. Now, as I said before, putting too much perfume, or if you're basically allergic to something and you still eat it, it's halal for you and you still eat it. Like basically, I'm saying a halal thing like peanuts, and you're allergic to peanuts, or you're allergic to chocolate and you go and eat chocolate. That's haram for you because you're killing yourself with that. Because you know you're gonna die. Because you know you're doing darar to yourself. What becomes haram as well, if the Prophet said that a person should lift up to his ankles. But what if we are in a country that's very cold at winter and we can't lift it? If we lift it, we know we're going to get frost bites and we're going to get this and that. Is it permissible for us to lift it? Is it halal? No, it's haram. Because adhan nafs haram. The Prophet said adhan nafs is haram. So you should put it down. You should wear as much clothes as you can. So for example, if you're in a country that's temperature reaches, like here in Canada, in the winter time, to -30. Oh, come on, bro. Or -40. Wearing perfume is sunnah. Perfume is halal. If you get allergic to it, or you know that if you wear it and go to that place and there's people that have allergies for it, should you wear it? No, it's haram. Because basically you're giving darar, you're harming people. And if you have allergies for it and you still wear it, you're harming yourself. So that becomes haram for you, even though it's halal in me. Similar with the TV that this guy broke here, that's causing too much fitna. If something becomes too much, and then of course, don't tell me the TV is today not too much. Wallah, everyone has technology, you can look anytime. Even if he's in the mountain tops, he still has a phone, he'll look at it. if that's gonna cause trials, and this is happening today, many people are getting trials. Subhanallah, how when Dajjal comes out, no one will escape it. If this trial is big right now, like the trial of TV and internet and phones and this and that, if Dajjal comes, no, this is the much more greater trial. They won't escape it anywhere. Okay, so we got this here. And we explained that this one is by scholars saying that then an affliction which no Arab house will escape is the TV and the internet and the phones and this and that. But mainly the TV, because the first thing that entered the houses is TV. Every person, you go to every Arab's house today, even the poor person, the most poor person still has TV. At least a satellite or TV, or he watches anything on it. In Sahih Muslim, it is narrated on the authority of Abu Hurairah, the Messenger of Allah observed, be prompt in doing good deeds before you are overtaken by turbulence, which would be like a part of the dark night. Now, the part of the dark night, of course, we all know, some ulama have stated that this hadith also has symbolically the TV, because the TV, if you turn it off, it looks dark. The screen looks dark. It looks like, basically. So some scholars have stated, and it can mean many meanings, right? Not only this, but some scholars have stated this is actually true. If you look at TV today, that's nothing other than TV. During that stormy period, a man would be a Muslim in the morning and unbeliever in the evening, or he would be a believer in the evening and unbeliever in the morning, and would sell his faith for worldly goods. What is doing that? TV. Sometimes you look at TV, you see a man with a car, you see a beautiful girl, right? And then you say to yourself, oh, I want this. I dream of family. Oh, shaitan is not that habibi. Even if you're the most pious person, wallah, you can be trialed by that. Oh, I wish I would have this. You would look at the shubuhat on TV against Islam. You would start to agree with it. You would look at the media. You would look at this and that and this and that and this and that. Well, don't tell me you're not going to be trialed. Half the Muslim population today are taking off their hijabs. Come on. Even Muslim countries. Okay. In Sahih Muslim, Abu Hurairah reported Allah's Messenger ﷺ as saying, Allah fixed the very portion of adultery which a man will indulge in. There would be no escape from it. The adultery of the eye is the lustful look. The adultery of the eye is the lustful look. When you look at TV, you're going to see anything. Probably a girl pops up immediately. Oh, this girl is beautiful. Look at her, look at her. Not wearing any clothes, etc., etc. Looking at porn on phone, everything. And the adultery of the ears, listening to words, sexy words, for example. These things are porn. If you watch it, some people hear noises. Allah alam what they hear. Is listening to voluptuous song or talk, or basically listening to songs as well, and idle talks, right? And the adultery of the tongue is licentious speech. If a person starts to say, oh, this adultery talk, right? Or says to a woman, oh, he wants to hang out with a woman, and says, or the woman speaks with her voice in a basically like in a sexual way, right? And the adultery of the hand is the lustful grip, embrace. The person goes and embraces a woman, right? Adultery. And the adultery of the feet is to walk to the place where he intends to commit adultery. And the heart yearns and desires which he may or may not put into effect. He may put it into effect what his heart tells him, and he might not put it in effect if his heart does not tell him. He might be sitting down, shaitan comes to him, makes him think about bad images. This is the adultery of the heart as well. Basically makes him think about, woman or this or that. Yeah, that's the adultery of the heart, basically. Sahih al-Bukhari narrated Abdullah ibn Abbas. Al-Fadl ibn Abbas rode behind the Prophet Muhammad as his companion rider on the back portion of his she-camel on the day of Nahr, slaughtering of sacrifice, 10th of Dhul Hijjah. And Al-Fadl was a handsome man. The Prophet Muhammad stopped to give the people verdicts. In the meantime, a beautiful woman from the tribe of Qath'am came asking the verdict of Allah's Messenger. Al-Fadl started looking at her as her beauty attracted him. The Prophet Muhammad looked behind while Al-Fadl was looking at her. So the Prophet Muhammad held out his hand backwards and caught the shin of Al-Fadl and turned his face to the owner's sides in order that he should not gaze at her, right? Etc. etc. So you can see even the Sahaba, the best people, were almost going to be trialed by that. Not only the Sahaba, the Prophets themselves. In Riyadh al-Salihin, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri reported, Messenger of Allah said, the world is sweet and green, alluring, and verily Allah is making you to succeed each other, generations after generations in it, in order to see how you act. So beware of this world and beware of women. And another Sahih Muslim hadith says, beware of this woman, because the first trial of Banu Israel was because of women. The trials of Banu Israel was because of women. Remember what the trial was? The first trial, it was from Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Prophet Yusuf was handsome, very handsome. And they say that the Prophet Muhammad was very handsome, but the way he was handsome does not attract women. So he's basically beautiful in a way that does not attract women. While Prophet Yusuf was very handsome, that his way even attracted women. In chapter 12 of the Quran, verse 24, and she certainly determined to seduce him, the one who Joseph was in her house, and he would have inclined to her, he was about to incline to her, had he not seen the proof of his Lord, but he remembered Allah. And thus it was that we should avert from him evil and immorality. Indeed, he was of our chosen servants. So imagine, even Prophet Yusuf alayhi was going to be tried if it was not for Allah to protect him, because Allah has put the isma on him and made the prophets ma'soom. And if it's not for Yusuf alayhi to remember Allah and says, Inni akhafullah, I fear Allah. Allah says in Sahih Bukhari, a Muslim hadith, that Allah will shade people on the day of resurrection. Who is one of them? The one when a woman starts to seduce him to sexual intercourse or sexual immorality, but the man refuses and says, Inni akhafullah, indeed I fear Allah. This guy will be shared on the day of resurrection, just like Yusuf alayhi salam. And there's another person, his name is Jurayj. Jurayj was one of who came after the time of, who was the follower of Isa alayhi salam, Prophet Isa, and he came after Prophet Isa, and he was a believer in Allah. He did not, go to the misguidance and became basically a one who believes in the Trinity and etc. all these false talks. Sahih Muslim, Abu Hurairah reported that Jurayj was one who was devoted to prayer in the temple. His mother came to him. Humayd said that Abu Rifa'i demonstrated before us like the demonstration made by Abu Hurairah, to whom Allah's Messenger had demonstrated as his mother called him, placing her palms upon the eyebrows and lifting her head for calling him, and said, Jurayj, it is your mother, so talk to her. She found him at the time absorbed in prayer, so he said to himself, O Lord, my mother is calling me, whereas I am absorbed in my prayer. He opted for his prayer, so he continued to pray. He didn't listen to his mother. His mother went back, then came again for the second time and said, O Jurayj, it is your mother calling you. Now this is because Jurayj was not committing obligation prayers. If you're making obligatory prayers, you should not answer your mother. But it is from the sunnah that if you're praying the sunnah and your mother or your father calls you, you should leave the prayer, go answer them, and come back and continue praying. That's only if it's voluntary prayers, not obligatory prayers. Jurayj here in this case was performing voluntary prayers. So his mom said again, I'm calling you, talk to me. He said, Oh Allah, there is my mother also and my prayer. And he opted, he continued for prayer. His mother said, Oh Allah, this Jurayj is my son. I pray to talk to him, but he refuses to talk to me. Oh Allah, do not bring death to him unless he has seen the prostitutes. And had she invoked the curse upon him from the heart of her heart, he would have been involved in some turmoil, in some fitna. She didn't. Sometimes the mother does not say it. Of course, the mother, when she does dua against her child, she does not mean it. But even if she does not mean it, the prayer of the mother might be answered in one way. There was a shepherd living near his temple, the temple where Jurayj was engaged in prayer. It so happened that a woman of that village came there, and that shepherd committed fornication with her. So basically, a woman came to the place of the prayer of Jurayj. She started to attack him with her beauty and said to him, Come, she's basically a prostitute, come have intercourse with me. Jurayj refused and turned away from her. She got mad at him and she saw that she could not seduce him and he was strong, and the woman got jealous, and so she went and wanted to make him fall. Right? She wanted to make him fall. So what she did, she went in that verse, she saw a shepherd come into fornication with her, and the shepherd committed fornication with her, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a child. It was said to her, whose child is this? She said, he is the child of one who is living in this temple, meaning Jurayj. She basically slandered him. She had sex with a shepherd and had a child, and then when the people said, who is this child for? She blamed it is Jurayj, not that shepherd's. So there came persons with hatchets and spades. They called Jurayj. He was absorbed in prayer and he did not talk to them, and they were about to demolish that temple that he saw them, and then came to them and they said, ask her, this woman, what she says. He smiled and then touched the head of the child and said, who is your father? Child said, my father is the shepherd of the sheep. The people who spoke in the cradle was not only Isa alayhi salam. Notice, it was the child of that shepherd. When Jurayj came to him, touched that child, and subhanAllah, Allah gave that miracle. Jurayj was not a prophet, by the way, he was a pious person. Allah gave him that miracle, that he made the child of that person speak. So he said, who is your father? He, the child, said, my father is the shepherd of the sheep. And when they heard this, they said, we are prepared. They apologized to Jurayj and they said, we are prepared to rebuild your temple with gold and silver, what we have demolished from your temple. He said, no, rebuild it with clay as it had been before. He then went up to his room and absorbed himself in prayer. Subhanallah. I give myself this advice before giving you this advice. This guy, his life was for prayer. And even if you look at TVs today, there is lies, slanders, there is this, there is that, there is this, there is that, anything. Even the TV sometimes makes takfir on certain people that are not actually kuffar, are not actually disbelievers. And then all the people get trialed by that and start to commit kufr, acts of kufr, by calling other people unjustly without knowing them that they are kafirs. So you have to beware about this fitna. And this woman, look, if this TV does this trials, how about this woman at that time when there was no TVs? She basically made the people believe that, because the people were ignorant. She made them believe that this child was Jurayj, and that Jurayj come into fornication with her. Okay. Yeah, and I said, even if you eat too much chocolate and it's not good for you, it becomes haram for you. If you're eating chocolate while you're chocolate is halal, of course, but if you're eating chocolate and it's gonna cause you harm, it's gonna kill you. If you have too much diabetes, and if you eat one chocolate, you're gonna get dizzy, you're gonna get this, you're probably gonna die, then it's haram for you. It becomes haram for you. So yeah, this is what I want to share with you. Beware of getting brainwashed with these mind games. They will not show everything. Many shuyukh are deceived. They are puppets of the West. They are puppets for so-called. If they're calling this takhalluf, or barbaric, wallahi, I will be the first to say that I am takhalluf and barbaric according to what they say against us. If this was takhalluf and barbaric, if this good thing that this guy was doing is takhalluf and barbaric, if they say, oh look, this hijab is takhalluf and barbaric, I'm with that. I'm with hijab. I'm not with what they say. I'm going to say, if this is barbaric and this and that, I'm going to follow that. If hijab is barbaric, I'm going to follow that. If covering yourself is barbaric, I'm going to follow that. If Islam is barbaric, I'm going to follow that. Even if their claim is false against it, but they're claiming it. So yeah, keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. Beware of what you see sometimes. They will deceive you. Wallahi, even if you're the most knowledgeable person, they will deceive you. If you're the most knowledgeable person, they will deceive you. And they will put you on trials. So beware of the TV. Okay? And as I said before, I don't do tahrim on TV. TV is not haram, but you should beware. You should beware. Okay? Similarly, if a person, is it haram for him to read Az-Zamakhshari? Az-Zamakhshari was Mu'tazili, but he had eloquence in the Lugha al-Arabiya. And the Muslim scholars, the Sunni scholars, Jews, read him. But the Muslim scholars say, if you're going to read a Mu'tazili thing and you don't know Aqeedah of Islam, do not read it. Even the scholars saying, if you get, sometimes they will get, because sometimes a Mu'tazili can be right in situations. He can say a word in Arabic, he can be this and that. But sometimes he might say to istawa, Allah rose over the throne, istawla. We change the meaning like the Jews. The Jews change the meaning of words. Right? They change the words. When Moses told them to enter, he said, say hittatun naghfir lakum khatayakum. Say hitta. They said hinta. And he says, Dkhulul baba sujjadan. Moses said, go in a state of prostration. Enter the city in a state of prostration. And say hitta. If you say hitta, Allah will forgive your sins. But instead, they did not prostrate. They went going on their buttocks. They went inside the gate going on their buttocks, rubbing their buttocks and going inside. And they said hinta. They changed the word of hitta. So you have to be careful. These Ash'aris are doing the same. So we have to be careful. Even if you're reading as Zamakhshari, the scholars say if you have ilm of aqeedah, if you're a Salafi, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, you have ilm of aqeedah, you can differentiate between what is false and what is right, then you can read that book. But if you have no ilm of aqeedah whatsoever and you read that book, it might deceive you with the words. And thus you might follow the ways of the Mu'tazila and the Ash'ari wal-'iyadu billah. So it becomes haram for you. So a person should beware, brothers and sisters. Even the TV, when it becomes a fitna, it becomes haram for you. But if you're using it for knowledge and you know for certain that you're using it for ilm and this and that, go ahead and use it. But as I said before, beware. It's better not to use it at all. I'm saying that. Even though I'm using the computer for da'wah to continue my da'wah, I say this first to myself, that I must beware. Okay? And then next, you guys also beware. Okay? Assalamu alaikum.